Yeah, it's TDPHINSTALK. We done came so far. Gotta keep going. Hey, this is 2022. TD on the mic repping my team. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Over 20,000 subs. Look at how much we done grew. Shout out DDW. He's great and that's my peer review. These haters keep on hating and it's starting to feel like deja vu. Insanity and Chef Jew. I can't forget my day one crew. EM Reason Ball Game. The recognition's overdue. I share with you my point of view and this is what it's got us to success. My haters say I'm a mess. They say that I'm a pest and I depress. And I'm obsessed with causing stress, but yet the stress they can't suppress. Nonetheless, I just impress because I'm blessed and they oppress. I know the answers, they just guess. When they play checkers, I play chess. When they regress, I make progress. And my attention, they get less. They feel neglected, CPS. If they don't pay, I repossess. Now I digress and decompress and take recess and clear my chest. I must confess, I am the best. Like, hey, this is 2022. TD on the mic repping my team. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Over 20,000 subs. Look at how much we done grew. Shout out DDW. He's great and that's my peer review. These haters keep on hating and it's starting to feel like deja vu. Insanity and Chef Jew. I can't forget my day one crew. EM Reason Ball Game. The recognition's overdue. I share with you my point of view and this is what it's got us to success. On the road to the Super Bowl, no matter the cost, man, we willing to pay the toll. 50 plus years and they all ended in tears. Now it's time to pop bottles, celebrate, scream cheers. Hey, this is 2022. TD on the mic repping my team. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Over 20,000 subs. Look at how much we done grew. Shout out to my day one crew. We only here because of you. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. We got some breaking news that came out today that is just not favorable. I'm going to tell you why it's more concerning than most people are putting it off to be. Byron Jones has been placed on the active PUP list, physically unable to perform. For those who don't know what PUP stands for, he is on the active list, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there is a difference between active PUP list and reserve PUP list. And for all those who don't understand what that is, I'm about to explain it to you, give you a little bit more education about how the NFL works and their terminology. So the active PUP list, which Byron Jones is on, is just a timing thing. If you are physically unable to perform due to a game related, like a football related injury, that's the best way to put it. A football related injury, basically what that means is if it's before training camp, you go on the active physically unable to perform list. The benefit about being on the active physically unable to perform list is the fact that as soon as your own medical staff clears you, you're able to play. So at any time, the medical staff can clear Byron Jones and he's ready to play. The difference is if you're on a reserve list, which happens at the end of preseason, right before the regular season. If you're placed on that list, which he still could be placed on, but they can't place anybody on it yet until after preseason, that means you're not able to practice or play for 6 weeks after the season started. So we definitely are crossing our fingers, hoping that Byron Jones does not get placed on the reserve list. It's just right now there is no reserve list. The reserve list doesn't start until after preseason. Right now, you place players on the active PUP list. And if they still are in that status after preseason, they go on the reserve list. And the reserve list is bad news because even if you're healthy in week 3, sorry, you can't play until after week 6. So we're hoping Byron Jones has a speedy recovery. He gets back 100% healthy to where the staff can clear him. And that can happen at any moment. But the reason why this is very concerning is because if you're a Dolphins fan, all you need to do is go back to the last 2 years. Go back to the last 2 years. 2 years ago, Xavien Howard was nursing an injury. This defense was not the same. We were forced to play a lot of zone, but we did have him on the field, but he wasn't 100% healthy, and they didn't want him to get exposed, and therefore we changed our whole defense. This happened to Byron Jones as well. Remember, he actually missed after the first game. He had missed like 4 or 5 games because he had got hurt. Same thing last season, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody talks about this. They don't talk about the fact that even though Xavien Howard and Byron Jones were playing last year, they were still getting back from their injuries. They were not 100% like the first 6 to 8 weeks. No one's talking about that. And people that I've spoken to and many others have said that that is one of the main reasons why we ran so much zone defense early in the season last year, because our 2 boundary guys weren't at 100%. And we all know, if you're a real Dolphin fan and you understand the nuances of this team, we go as far as those 2 guys on the corner go. Without them, our entire scheme would not work. The way we play football on defense, which is elite when we play that type of football, it is only made possible because of those 2 guys on the corner that we've basically told them, we're not going to give you any help, which allows our safeties to play in the box all day at the line of scrimmage. They're not worried about the deep ball. We have an empty secondaries, single highs a lot. That is only made possible because you have Xavien Howard and Byron Jones, 2 guys that you can rely on to do their job and do it well. No one's perfect, but they do a darn good job. But when they're laboring injuries and they're still out there playing football, we tend to always play a heavy amount of zone, bend but not break. And here we are coming into the new season for the 3rd year. Byron Jones just had surgery in the offseason. And as of right now, he is not 100% ready to play. That can change tomorrow. That can change in a week. I said this last year. I was having the same fine. They're just taking precaution. No, this is the beginning of training camp, ladies and gentlemen. They want everybody to be 100%. They want them to go out there and see what they have in a team. There's no more precaution being taken. If they were taking precaution, they'd have it. All of our great players would be on the physically unable to perform just to keep them safe. And I think they would be trying to be more cautious with Xavien Howard than Byron Jones, right? And I said this last year, and sure enough, we went into the season with corners that weren't playing at 100% and didn't get their legs under them until about week 7, week 8. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is something that we're going to keep our eye on, because this can be very concerning. Because if we don't have a healthy Byron Jones coming into the season on the boundary, and we have to deal with zone, playing a lot of zone defense, it's not good at all. It's just not good. It's just not good at all. And that's why I'm concerned, because we've had 2 years of this. Nobody's been able to explain why we've played all that zone for 2 years in a row for the first half of the season. And I keep telling everybody it's because our corners have not been playing at 100% to start both seasons. And now here we are with a 3rd season, and we're just hoping we don't head in that direction again, because here we go. This is why I've said to you all many times, so many things need to go right for the Miami Dolphins for us to make the playoffs. I've listed so many things that could go wrong that could take us out of the playoffs, singular items. Teron Armstead gets hurt. That can take us out of the playoffs. Tyreek gets hurt or Waddle. Then we're back to last year almost. Xavien Howard or Byron Jones isn't playing at 100%. They're not going to feel comfortable running the defense that we love. There's so many factors, individual factors that could derail this team, and they all need to work out for us to do something special this year, and that's why I don't like it. Yes, Elijah Campbell is on the PUP list as well. TD is X100. He is expected to be 100% coming into this season. Xavien Howard, from what I know, is 100% right now. He is in the best shape and feels his best, and it feels like he's going to play his best football from what I understand right now. The healthiest Xavien Howard that you probably have seen since he came in the league, you ask me. Right now, this should be your peak Xavien Howard year. And I hope he makes a statement this year, especially after the Madden disrespect, after the rankings disrespect. Or is it disrespect? They didn't have him as a top 10 corner. There's a part of me that says, okay, put the man in there around 8. But, when you really break it down and how Madden works, I just don't understand why people feel like it's disrespectful. Like, people argue things just to argue things instead of doing their research on why something is the way that it is. The truth of the matter is Xavien Howard is not ranked in the top 10 on Madden because there are a lot of attributes that he doesn't even come close to some of those other guys. Do you know how big speed is in Madden? Do you know how major that is? Some of those guys are just faster than him, so their speed rating, which has a higher weight, is just higher. And it makes up for the turnovers. Because Xavien Howard in Madden is only taking advantage of turning over bad quarterbacks that underthrow the ball or wide receivers who are just as slow. But against some of the best receivers in the matchups, there's not a lot of picks to be had outside of a bad quarterback. You get a good quarterback and you get a good receiver, Xavien Howard on Madden will rarely pick him off because the speed of the wide receiver is blowing past him in the game. You need a bad throw by the quarterback in order for him to get the pick. And remember, Madden looks at every single play a player has had, and they really evaluate what you're strong in and what you're weak in. How is your this? How is your that? And coverage ratings and things of that nature. It makes a difference. Crazy. I use X and Madden man-to-man all day, and he's shutting anyone down. Well, I mean, on the game, he's still gonna be a good corner and make plays. People just want him to be above everybody else on the list. But the truth is Xavien Howard a complete cornerback? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Then it also depends on the system. Man-to-man, yeah, here, crossing routes, not so good. But as zone coverage, that's not great. So to me, based off of analysts, they're not going to consider him a complete corner. They're going to consider him a ball hawk. Let's make sure y'all understand that. Most people don't consider Xavien Howard a complete corner. They consider him a ball hawk. I personally have witnessed his deficiencies over the last several years. And last year, I was very impressed by Xavien Howard. The areas that I felt he was deficient in, he improved greatly, in my opinion. And I thought that, I thought he would be top 5 this year on Madden, but it is what it is. But He made some vast improvement last year in the areas that I knew he struggled in. So I see where the improvement is made, but at the same token, that's the first year that I've seen that all around, in my opinion, like well-rounded corner. Just my take on that. Ball game in the building. What's up, man? Glad to see you, homie. He said Byron being on the PUP is a smart move because this provides them a chance to evaluate the youngsters while Jones gets to continue rehabbing. I agree, ball game. It's definitely a smart move. The only scary part is still, is he going to be 100 when the season started? We saw what happened the last 2 seasons. Those guys weren't playing at 100% coming into the season, and it was a much of the reason why we ran the scheme that we ran early on, and we just were terrible in it. So I hope that this gives him the time to get 100% and not 80, because having him out there 80%, they're not going to be looking to be as aggressive as they usually are. And then we got to ask ourselves, who's behind him? This is one of the areas what I've been concerned about. Who's behind him? We brought in some new additions and things of that nature, but who's behind them? Who can come in and get those reps and be productive? And let me tell you another thing. One part of why I don't like this is because now it becomes even harder to evaluate the offense, because you want to see the offense, and I know the ball game, Noah's behind them, but you want to see the offense deal with some of the best coverage that they're going to have so that we can get a gauge of how they're going to start the season. I feel like this throws a wrench in telling us about this offense. The offense basically just caught a break for camp. I will say that. Even though they already struggled in mini camps, but they just caught a break for camp. G Money with the donation said Denzel Ward, Deshaun Watson, DW, Miles Chubbs, all top 5 under 27. Oh, you talk about the corners. Yeah. But that's my thing, man. Grossman is also good. Yeah, he going to get reps. But again, the offense just caught a huge break, because now you got Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill out there abusing somebody. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I don't like this news. I wanted to see the full effect of this defense in camp, and I was looking forward to seeing if our offense could break through it, because it would have gave me the biggest uplift ever. Now I kind of feel like if the offense has some success, it's still hard to gauge. And it's almost like I'm still may not figure it out until I go to the Tampa Bay Bucks practices. Or we get a corner that steps up. That would be a beautiful sight too. You get a cornerback that steps up and shows that he can play some starter quality play. It's going to make it that much easier next year to move on from Byron Jones. And it ain't even like we want to move on from Byron Jones. It's just that we all assume that we will, because they already restructured his contract to get $10 million in cap savings this year just to put voidable years. And are we going to want to take on the tag that he's going to be the next few years? That's an expensive bag. But we'll see. Byron would get burned regardless by Waddle and Tyreek. Xavier, I don't know what you're talking about, but that's the thing about Byron Jones. He rarely gets burnt. See, that's the beauty about Byron Jones. Even if you make a play on him at least he is right there to tackle you right away. You have rare situations where a guy just beats him flat out and wins the day. Those are rare. You get 2 to 3 of those in an entire season. With Byron Jones, you get 2 to 3 plays in an entire season where a guy actually just beats him. Byron Jones is typically always with his man. And like I said, even if he gives up a completion, it's a quick one and a tackle to the ground. Y'all got this all the way messed up if you think Byron out there getting burnt all day. And let me tell y'all what y'all do with Byron Jones. For some reason, y'all hated Byron Jones because he made more money than X. He don't make more money now, so you ain't got to beat up on the man now. I don't know why our own fans hated Byron Jones because he made more money than X. We dogged Byron Jones for three years now, I feel like. People have been disrespecting Byron Jones. Xavier said, I don't know. I've seen Byron get toasted. We've all seen Byron get toasted, but you can't name more than 2 to 3 times in a season. We've all seen it. We've seen Xavien Howard get toasted more than Byron. If you want to pull up the film, you'll see Xavien Howard actually get toasted more than Byron. But luckily, Xavien Howard will get the picks that make you forget all about it. These are facts. These ain't feelings, they're facts. No, that's Browns cornerback, QB, defensive end, and running back. They secondary top 5 cornerbacks and safeties. Y'all need new GM. And we got most cap space somehow. LOL. Y'all need new CBs. G Money, we gonna beat y'all in week 10, man. You'll see. You'll see. They dog Byron Jones like you dog Tua. At least I got the facts behind Tua's dogging. At least I'm bringing film. I'm bringing stats. I'm bringing just the eye test. But with Byron Jones, I don't know what people be talking about. I have no clue. You know what Byron Jones gives up? Byron Jones is the guy that gives up the 3rd and 10. Byron Jones will sit at the first down marker. He'll give you the 3-yard pass and tackle you at the 6. It's a completion, but you're punting the ball. That's what Byron Jones gives up. Like he should and like he's supposed to. This notion Byron Jones out here getting toasted and stuff. Y'all look at one play Byron Jones get beat and y'all, oh man, you know, I've never understood that, and it's been almost 3 years now. It don't make no sense. This whole defense runs because of Byron Jones. Without him, this defense don't run. Without X, this defense don't run. Both of them guys needed on the field at 100% in order for this defense to run. Period. They only hate on him because he's not flashy. Dude does his job. He does it very well. He just ain't got the picks. Do y'all realize if Byron Jones got 6 or 7 picks, he'd be an all-pro easily? If he had 4 or 5 picks, he'll be considered in that realm because his coverage is very good. Ben had a crazy defense before Byron. I don't know what you talking about. Whoever say we Ben had a crazy defense before Byron, I don't even understand what you're referring to. Before Byron, we had a defense of no names, where Nick Needham was probably one of the best players on the defense. You remember that? So I don't know what you're talking about. And we ain't had no great defense in a long time, period. Outside of these last few years. We gave up 100 points in the first 2 weeks. Yep, I remember. I don't hate on Byron, LOL. You taking what I'm saying in a different way. Well, help me understand what you're saying. If I'm taking it in the wrong way, I don't want to represent you the wrong way, bro. Forgive me if I am. No one said he's better than X, but let's be clear. Byron being opposite X allows X to do the things he does. No question about it, ball game. But they don't understand that. They don't understand it. And I'm not going to lie. Having Holland and those boys back there allows X to do what he does too, because he know he has a safety blanket behind him at times. Xavien Howard takes the risk because he know he could trust the guy that got his back at that safety position. Don't forget that. Byron helps X be better, like X helps Byron look better. I agree. I would agree with that too. They both help each other play and look better. Absolutely. But man, either way, man, I just hope Byron Jones gets cleared by the team at some point in training camp where he can practice out there with him. I don't want to have. I hope this doesn't linger into the season. I hope not. X led the league in interceptions before Jones got here. I agree with you, casual Dolphin fan. He did lead the league in interceptions before Byron got here, but he was a terrible cover corner before Byron got here. All he was were interceptions before Byron got here. X couldn't guard a crossing route to save his life before Byron got here. All we talk about was the picks of X before Byron got here. And don't forget, X would always take the best receiver, and those guys need their touches, so they're going to get targets. And X was able to take advantage of it. He was able to take advantage of it. Y'all should have traded X for a first last year. G-Money, Uptown, you know my stance on that, but I will tell y'all this. If we don't go to the playoffs this year and we don't do nothing special, I'm going to be so mad. And I'm going to tell y'all, this is why I told y'all we should have been traded X. I was the one beating the drum 2 years ago. Trade X now. Because we rebuilding, and all we going to do to him is like we do with all of the good players that's on this team. We're going to use his prime while we're rebuilding. That's why when they traded Laramie Tunsil, it was a proud moment. I said, we're going to be going through a rebuild for 2 to 3 years. Why are you going to be sitting here giving this man a $100 million contract and paying him $60 million when at the end of the day, we ain't expected to do nothing special anyway? We better do something special this year, or you have literally wasted Xavien Howard's career. That's another reason why I believe it was him that was saying Tua wasting his career. We don't go to the playoffs this year. Are we wasting Xavien Howard's career, ladies and gentlemen? Yes or no in the comment section. Yes or no in the comment section. Because these are the very things that keep players like Xavien Howard from becoming Hall of Famers. First of all, he ain't a Hall of Famer. He going to need about 2.5 to 3 more years of what he's been doing to be considered. But without any postseason success, this is why guys like him don't go to the Hall of Fame. And we cry every year, talk about, oh, Zach Thomas and Richmond Webb, they should be in. They sure should be in, but guess what? Where's the postseason success? Wasting years. Wasting great years. And this is what they do. It don't make no sense why Zach Thomas and Richmond Webb ain't in the Hall of Fame. But when you really think about it, where's the postseason success? They always say, oh, yeah, but Urlacher. Postseason success, baby. I think Quincy Wilson beats out Noah. Ooh, man, Noah better step it up. Noah better step it up. We need him to be the guy this year. Just like Austin Jackson need to be the guy. Tua need to be the guy. The trio, the triple effect. Do y'all realize I believe all three of them are going to succeed or all three of them are going to fail. It's unfair to tie them all to each other, but I believe all three are going to succeed or all three going to fail. Tua, Noah, and Austin Jackson. The 2019 boys, I think it was 2019. And can you imagine if all three of them succeed? Oh, that's like, y'all. It's like unreal for Dolphins. Like, it's almost destined for them not to, because we the Dolphins. But if they did, oh my gosh, that's Christmas. It's Christmas. All Austin Jackson need to do is become slightly above average this year, and that's a success. Tua to show us he a franchise quarterback. Oh my gosh, we winning. And Noah becoming a good, I ain't got to be great. He ain't got to be Byron or X, but a good boundary corner. Ooh. Man. 2020 TD. Yeah, you're right. 2020 boys. But gosh, it got to happen. No other one on there that's making you a little nervous about it, though. Kazi said, you whack AF grouping Tua with Austin Jackson. Why? Why is that whack? They both have produced under where they've been drafted. What Austin Jackson has produced from where he drafted, embarrassing. And truth be told, what Tua has produced where he was drafted, embarrassing. Noah, embarrassing. Based off of where they were drafted and what you expect from a draft pick, all three have been embarrassing. So don't say it's an issue that I lumped them together. It's one of the most difficult positions to learn in the NFL. Cornerback is no joke. I agree with that ball game, but let me tell y'all why Noah gets the least amount of criticism. We all make fun of it. We'd be like, man, come on, Noah, step up. But Noah gets the least amount of criticism because, number one, at least he was drafted at the end of the first round, which was still a reach, like most people would say, unless he becomes a Pro Bowler going forward. He was drafted at the end of the first round, number one. Number two, he was the youngest guy coming out of school. There was already a built-in 2-year layoff for him. Do you realize Noah should have just been like a rookie this year based off of his age? He should have just been coming out of school. Most people don't realize that about Noah. He was one of the youngest players to ever be drafted. One of the youngest players to be drafted. So we basically took on his college years and let him develop in the NFL. So that's why we've always said, oh my gosh, Noah, but at the same token, not beating him up. But this year, it has to be his coming out party. Like this year, he has to play like a late first round pick, which ain't got to be elite. But he got to come and give the team some solid reps to where they feel good about moving on to him in the future. But Austin Jackson? No, where we got him, it's embarrassing. You gotta be better than that. Tua, 5th overall, where we got him, it's a little embarrassing, but he also has some things that you can, I don't want to use the word excuse, but you can have a reason for the slow start potentially. We're not going to discount the major injury, why many said it's irresponsible to draft him in the first place, but that's a major reason why there could be a slow start. But that's it. I don't want to hear nothing about this whole sabotaging narrative by the coach and they didn't like him, what he had around him. Y'all know my take on that. Yeah, if he would have had better around him, he would have had better numbers, but he would have still been the same player. It still wasn't going to take away the areas that he struggled in. They should try Noah at free safety with Holland at strong. We got the free and the strong lockdown right now, man. Don't get me wrong. I think Noah already got some experience back there. Flores was kind of teaching him all those roles as well. But yeah, man, I'm not in that excuse business. So this year in year 3, Austin Jackson's on the clock and Tua's on the clock. Austin Jackson and Tua's on the clock, and I'm gonna tell you this: Noah might even get a 4th year. It might even be worth giving an additional year, long as they see small and tangible improvement. Ball game said horrible is very opinionated. I agree. There's definitely my opinion based in that. My horrible, that's me adding on to it. He didn't do anything worse than any of the other cornerbacks. Oh, you talking about that? I thought you meant Tua. Cornerbacks on this team. X gave up 5 touchdowns. Jones gave up 4, and Noah gave up 1. Knock it off. And by the way, Xavien Howard need to cut down on his penalties too. That's something that he's much higher than his counterparts as well. I got you, ball game. But yeah, man. But that's it, man. Noah might even get an extra year past this year. Y'all need to understand that. It's very cheap, and on top of it, it was a project. Now, maybe Mike McDaniel is like, I don't care about that project. That was Flores' project. That could be a different story. If Mike McDaniel is saying, that was Flores' thing, not me. I want that roster spot for a wide receiver. You never know. So that could be the only thing working against Noah is having a new head coach. So Gesicki should be the breakout player of the year, right? Chill mode, I disagree. I think this is going to be one of Mike Gesicki's worst years. Because let me tell you why. Number one, where did Mike Gesicki get most of his production anyway? On the boundary. Is he going to be on the boundary this year? Mike Gesicki don't get much out of the traditional tight end role. And then on top of it, the way that Mike McDaniel and that offense, because I've been researching that offense, the way it's designed, Mike Gesicki don't fit it. He's not the prototypical guy. That's why they invested in the freaking fullback, who they're gonna be using at tight end a lot. Just FYI. He's still gonna get his. I mean, they tagged him. He's still gonna be out there. But I gotta see how Mike gonna do this. Maybe Mike, and that was McDaniel, I'm saying, but maybe Gesicki does get some boundary reps and they slide Waddle in the slot. Then they slide Tyreek in the slot. They can interchange a lot. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting what they do this year, but it's going to be interesting to see how creative they can get with it. Thought we got some outstanding tight end coach. That's why I was hoping. Yeah, I mean, he could make a difference. But let me tell you something about blocking. Rule number 1, you got to want to. Rule number 1, you have to want to. I ain't saying Gesicki don't want to, but it doesn't look like a very high priority. Just saying. They made Kittle look great, so Kittle wasn't great anyway. Let's make sure we don't misappropriate certain things. That's like saying Adam Gase made Peyton Manning great. That's what I'm gonna tell y'all something. Some people love doing that. The only time I give a coach credit is if they take a unit that was down in the dirt and they rise them up. But don't give me somebody who was already good and then they good consistently and all of a sudden you're the reason. I have a hard time with that. People always do that. Just because a coach worked with a great player, the coach, oh, we get that coach. Look what he did with that person. Some people are just beasts. Some people are just freakish athletes, and the coach is blessed to have them. And there are some great coaches that can move numbers and get results out of players that you don't think they could. So I ain't knocking that. But at the same token, be very careful when we try to put it on a coach and say that they made somebody so they should make somebody else. Come on, y'all. Kittle is that dude. Let's be fair here. Just saying. Kittle was a rookie and put up 910 yards. Just saying. What's his name again, by the way? What's the coach name again? I don't know why I keep on mistaking his name. Y'all help me out in the comment section. Our tight end coach. Every time I forget his name. Dang. I'll wait on y'all. Somebody will help me out real quick. The tight ends coach, put it in the comment section. Ain't nobody. I know somebody got me. Somebody said Kittle blocked like a left tackle. You gotta want to. That's number one. Number one. What said Frank Smith? Did you hear what I asked? All right. Let me see here. Because I thought our tight end coach was in Tampa at one point. Yeah, okay, I see it. Yeah, he was with the Bucks and the Cleveland Browns. He got a lot of experience. This was one of the guys that I thought was a good addition, but I like him. I like him because of the potential for Hunter Long, not Mike Gesicki, y'all. You think they want Mike Gesicki long term? If they did, they would have already given him his money and they would have never drafted Hunter Long where they drafted him. If you got your premier tight end of the future, you don't draft a Hunter Long where you did. They've been looking for Gesicki's replacement. I'm hoping that our tight end coach can work with Hunter Long and make him a good tight end. 8K Slider said Hunter Long trash. That's the point. Now we get to see how good the tight end coach is. If you think that because some of y'all like Hunter Long, now we get to see how good the tight end coach is, right? Stop looking at Gesicki and trying to evaluate the tight end coach on Gesicki. No, evaluate the tight end coach on Hunter Long. Because if Gesicki has Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Gesicki gonna get his 1,000 yards every year. You can't tell me I'm wrong. regardless of his blocking or rounding routes, Mike Gesicki is going to get his 1,000 yards every year with one of the top 5 quarterbacks. So if Tua plays like a top 5 quarterback this year, don't sit here and be like, oh, that's the tight end coach. I'm not saying he don't get no credit, but let's slow down. That's Tua playing like a top 5 quarterback. Getting this guy the ball, because we saw on film for the last 2 seasons, Gesicki running wild and wide open, getting mad because the ball didn't come. So I'm sorry. This is a huge opportunity for the tight end coach to develop Hunter Long, ladies and gentlemen, not Mike Gesicki. Show me what you can do with Hunter Long. Matter of fact, you're going to become an offensive coordinator really soon if you can allow us to replace Mike Gesicki with Hunter Long and not miss a beat. Those are the things that a coach does to get promoted. If he could make Hunter Long turn into Mike Gesicki and us not miss a beat, he going to be an OC soon. That's how you get promoted in this league. Not living off of the fact that, oh, you had Kittle your whole career. I'm sorry, that ain't how that works. That's just not how it works, y'all. Now, why you think he been a tight end coach every year? Every year. Look at it. And I'll go all the way back. Since 2006, Kansas City Chiefs, tight end coach. Washington Redskins, tight end coach. Went back to college. Then came back to the NFL, tight ends coach. Tampa Bay, tight ends coach. San Francisco, tight end coach, assistant head coach. But that's typically because you've had, and don't get fooled by the assistant head coach. Once you've put in a certain amount of years in, they give you those titles next to your position, which is tight end coach. Miami Dolphins, assistant head coach and tight ends coach. You're an assistant head coach, but ain't been a coordinator yet. And I'm not knocking Embry at all. What I'm saying to y'all is this is his opportunity right here. He'd make Hunter Long, he turned Hunter Long into something. He going to be either a coordinator or get his shot or looked at getting some interviews for head coaching jobs. You got to be able to show that type of stuff. Come on, bro. You got to believe. Have a plan for Mike to be a big dog this year. Let me ask you this, Chill Mode. How many times you think we throwing the ball a game? How many attempts do you think Tua's going to have throwing the ball per game? We got to put some stuff in the context, y'all. I'm going to show y'all something. I want y'all to put it in the comment section. How many times do you think Tua will be throwing the ball per game this year? Some of y'all, I think some of us, we're just not putting things in the context. And let me calculate what we did last year. 388 attempts divided by the 13 games. Let's see. 388. We threw the ball 30 times a game last year. We threw the ball 29.8. Let's just say 30. We threw the ball 30 times a game last year. I'm going to tell y'all now. That means if we have a successful offense, Tua will throw the ball around 23 to 24 times a game this year. Why do I say that? We only threw the ball 30 times a game last year because we had all the dink and dunk passes that were an extension of the run. All those tight end slip outs, all of those things that we did as an extension of the run. We ran at least 6 plays every game that we wanted to run, but we had to throw it real quick and make it an extension of the run because we just couldn't run in a traditional set. This year, those quick little dump passes to the tight ends and stuff are going to be handoffs. They're actually going to be handoffs. We threw the ball 30 times a game with Tua last year. And we didn't have a run game. We complained about abandoning the run so much. And you think we're going to throw it more? When Mike McDaniel bring all these running backs in and wants more balance? I promise y'all, if the offense is successful, he throwing the ball 25 or less times. Anything over 30 is going to spell disaster. I'm telling y'all. Yeah, but we got weapons now, this and that. You don't understand. You don't understand. So we're going to have a run game. We're not going to have as many extension of the run plays like we did last year. Go put your clothes on. Go tell mommy, okay? Hold on, yeah. Yes? Well, let mommy know. She got your stuff, okay? Close the door behind you. No, we're not going to be throwing the ball that much. I'm telling y'all, 25 times a game. 25 times a game. And then you have to think of it like this. If we throw the ball 25 times a game, how many targets you think Tyreek getting in the game? They're going to try to target this man at least 10 times a game. Waddle going to get targeted another about 8 a game. Those are your 2 primary guys. Mike Gesicki might get 4 to 5 targets a game, ladies and gentlemen. And then the rest of them spread out between the running backs and the other guys. I'm telling y'all, probably on average, let me get y'all Tyreek. Okay, Tyreek will get by 8 on average. Waddle will get about 7. That's 15 right there. Gesicki 5 max. That's 20. The rest of them spread out, and it might even be worse than that for some of them any given game. And another thing about this offense, they want to get it on the outside. They want all the pursuit D to have to chase what's going on. The screens on the outside. They want to try to get a lot of that action outside of the box. And they want to get it out there quick and let the playmakers make a move or two and take off down the field. Mike Gesicki, I'm telling you, man. And again, is he even going to be on the boundary? And he will make some plays. He will make some plays. But one thing I know about Mike McDaniel, if we running the ball and it's working, he going to keep running that ball. He going to keep running that ball. 1st and 10, 6 yards. 2nd and 4, I bet you he hand it off. 2nd and 4, 7 yards. Back to a 1st down. Hand that ball off. 1st and 10, 5 yards. All right. Edmonds, get out of there. Moser, going in. Give me them 5 yards. I bet you he keep handing it off. If the run game working. So you know what? One thing about that system that they ran in San Francisco, as long as that clock ticking, then the game is on their side. As long as we not down and the clock is ticking, because they have a philosophy. If we're in the trenches in a dogfight as long as we in the game with 2 minutes left, then it's anybody's game. They don't want to get in those shootouts. That type of system don't want to be in those shootout. That type of system don't want to, you score a touchdown and I need to match it in 2 minutes. That type of system don't want to get down by 20 or more points either. That type of system don't even want to be down by 10 points if the defense struggling. It's led by the defense. Keep us attached to their score. And it's a chess game from there. Defense, do your job by not letting them score and let us figure out this chess game and see how we can figure out a way to get more points than them. And if you can add points on defense, thank you for the bonus. Thank you for the bonus. And another thing, they run different concepts out of that system depending on the quarterback. I mean, people forget the Rams coach. Where did he come from? Where the Rams coach come from? Where the Rams coach come from, huh? All of them have a similar system, but they run different wrinkles depending on what the quarterback can do. That system has an ultimate system if you can have an elite quarterback. But if you ain't got an elite quarterback, then you could still win games. You just got to play better chess. You got to play better chess. But that's why they moving. That's why they moving on from Jimmy G, because they all are searching the ultimate. These guys know that system so well. That I'm telling y'all got to understand that Shanahan tree. Everybody that comes from up under it, they know the system so well. They know they can get everything going, but they know there's levels to that system, and those levels depend on the defense and the quarterback. If our defense is elite, we can run this system at a very high level. But if we got a good defense and the quarterback has no limitations, it's hard to stop us. It's hard to stop this system. This system can beat anybody. But they all work up to that point. And sure enough, the Rams got there first. They got there. Because think about that system. How many of them have won Super Bowls out of it? Not many. They all have success and they go far, but how many win Super Bowls out of it? They don't really win Super Bowls out of it, but they just did. Just did. Because what did the Rams do? They took a good quarterback. I don't care how you look at it. Goff is good. He just ain't great. He ain't very good. He's not elite. He's a good quarterback, though. He belongs in the NFL. He's a freaking NFL starter. He ain't no bum. But they took that good quarterback and said, nah, you know what we could do in this system with a great elite quarterback? And they did it. And that's what San Francisco's trying to do. They took a good quarterback in Jimmy G and said, imagine a great one. Now Tua has an opportunity to either be great or end up having us go get great next year. It's that simple. If he comes out and he's good, it's only a matter of time. If he come out and he great, he owns this team. He owns me. He owns everybody in this community. 100% loyalty. Ball game said QBs need good O-line play to truly excuse me. Hold on. Truly, and I'm going to read the donation in a second. Truly their best. Hope for quality O-line play, because without that, we are toast. Ball game, that's why I was whining 3 weeks ago. You got a left tackle in Connor Williams. We like Robert Hunt, but we got 16 million sitting right there. Go for freaking broke. Who cares? Just get, like, you can go get a right tackle and a center if you want. We can go get an above average right tackle and center right now if we want it. I don't like this taking. I understand we spent draft capital and assets on all these guys, and somebody needs to work out. But no, man, screw that, man. Go for it all. Stop this experiment. Let's see if we can get, and don't get me wrong, I don't want to give up on these guys, but they're going to be certified backups if it's me. I'm going to go get my right tackle. I'm going to get my center, put Connor right back at left guard, have the Armstead at the left tackle, Hunt at the right tackle. We ready for war. Got my running backs, my committee, got them top receivers, my tight end room. Oh, we ready for war. Defense on 100. And then the crazy thing is, even if Tua is the same player he's been, it's still good enough to give a Jimmy G season, and we go to a Super Bowl potentially if you do all that. But instead, let's hope Austin Jackson work out. Let's switch Connor Williams to center, which he never played, and then hope the left guard work out too, and the center. And expect Tua to be his best, very best version without the very best around him. Yeah, don't get me wrong. You put enough around him, but it ain't the very best around him. And I can see if, well, nobody can have the very best around him. Where we're in a rare situation for one more year where we could for this 1 year have everything around him. But we're going to save that little 16 million. Maybe they just believe all our guys need A+ coaching. We certainly haven't had that for quite some time. Well, I think that's an assumption ball game. Because once again, if Austin Jackson is trash and some of them other guys that ain't did nothing is trash this year under Mike McDaniel, then we got to get off of that. It was because of non-quality coaching. That's an assumption that will be proven or disproven this year. Or do we say the new coaches ain't quality coaches either? I don't know. That could keep going. Because there ain't no guarantee Austin Jackson going to be any better. Because if he not, is it Austin Jackson or is it coaching? There ain't no guarantee Noah going to be any better. Because if he not, is it Noah or is it coaching? If Tua ain't no better, is it because of Tua or is it because of coaching? I hope Tua leads us to the promised land this season, but until we can get great consistent play from the QB position, we will continue to be mediocre, unfortunately. Well, a lot of people believe it's what's around the quarterback is why you're getting mediocre play, but we're going to find out this year. Excited to see Skylar Thompson play in preseason. We'll see. Our O-line coaches were boo-boo. We won't know until the end of the season, though. It all has to play out. I agree, but once again, if this O-line is still boo-boo, like put it like this. If our O-line was 32nd, right? If they moved to 25th, it wasn't the coaches. Well, why not, TD? That's improvement. No, with Teron Armstead and Connor Williams alone, you're supposed to at least move to around 23 without any additional coaches. The last coaching staff, if they had Teron Armstead and Connor Williams, you're going to at least move to 23 just off of players alone. But I'm going to tell you now, with the two players that they added and these great coaches, what are we expecting? We expecting them to be the what? The 12th ranked offensive line or something? Let me ask y'all, what do you like? And I know this is all we don't know, but what do y'all think this O-line going to be ranked this year? We coming from 32nd. What do you think they're going to be this year? with these coaches and the additions, what will the O-line end up being ranked this year? And when you answer that question, remember this. Even with the additions that we made on the O-line, there are O-lines that's still better without making any changes. What some people need to realize is when you're trying to catch up, but everything's still moving forward, don't think the additions you made are as big of an impact as you believe. Like, this is what I'm trying to say to y'all. There are teams that on a scale of 1 to 10, their O-line was ranked maybe an 8, and ours was ranked a 1. But you bring in a Teron Armstead and you bring in a Connor Williams, you go from a 1 to a 5, but you still ain't even where they were last year, and they probably went up from an 8. See, a lot of times we think that, oh, we done caught up. A lot of y'all saying, oh, ball game said top 20. Okay. And I'm gonna be honest, that's success. I'm gonna be honest, ball game. Number 20 is success. If this O-line could go from 32 to 20, that's success, but it still ain't enough to get the job done for us this year with the competition we're gonna play. This O-line got to be top 15 to be impactful. But to get to 20 is a positive for the coaching staff. They made a difference. Because me personally, I feel like adding an Armstead and a Connor Williams will take you from 32 to around 25, 24, 23, something like that. But you get to 2019 or better, coaches got their hand in that. Coaches got their hand in that. But that's why I be trying to tell people, stop thinking this O-line is going to go from 32 to top 10. 20 is success. Going to number 20 is success. Still ain't enough, but it's still heading in the right direction. Because that's the part about the game that people need to be patient about. Excuse me. The simple fact that as we build this team, Tua can go from freaking 26th or wherever he was. If he goes to 17, that's good. But unfortunately, given our situation, it probably ain't going to be good enough for him to stay. But it's still good improvement for him to probably get a chance on another team. But I done already told y'all, he got to be top 10 this year. And if I'm going to give any little wiggle room in my assessment, top 12, if I'm going to give wiggle room, top 12. But these things take time. That's why I said, if they went and got a above average center, if they went and got a right tackle, then the talent on the O-line alone would have been good enough to go from 32 to 18. You see the difference? Adding Teron Armstead and Connor Williams makes me feel like you automatically go from like 32 to 24. But if you just go get that center and that right tackle, just from talent alone, you go from 32 to like 18, in my opinion. And guess what? Now the coaching gets to get you to maybe 12 or something, or even better. And that's where I feel like you got what Tua needs. But I personally don't feel, and I know you know I don't make no excuses for Tua. But I got to be honest with you. This is where I feel like if you're going to support Tua, you have to go 100% all in on supporting him. And that means you need to get him an offensive line that's top 15 in the NFL. And I feel like what you did is went and got an O-line that at best with coaching and players will get him to around 20, which is still good improvement, but still not enough for him to showcase anything he has in him to make his case of why he's a franchise quarterback. This is why I say you got $16 million. Screw all that crap. Sit them boys on the bench, and if somebody get hurt, they up. Go get a center and go get a right tackle right now. And we broke, but I don't care. Let's go. Let's go get the best version of Tua so we all can really see what the max is. I don't want to end this season saying he played better technically. You know, his numbers were up, you know, but we still had a problem having time to be able to move the ball down the field the way we like to. We still had to customize the offense to get rid of it quicker, which we're trying to do anyway. Everybody's trying to get rid of the ball as soon as they can in the NFL, but y'all know what I mean. Man, go get it, man. That's why you go get the QB by any means. Could have traded X and used the 2. Use that to get Watson and still get him and maybe other free agent that want to play in warmer weather. Yeah, but G Money, I mean, that ship is sailed, bro. Watson in Cleveland, now we got to beat up on them in week 10, and it is what it is. And hey, man, that again, at the end of the day, I love Watson's game. I respect Watson. The thought of him coming to Miami was just drooling for me, and I needed every bit of it. But he ain't in Miami no more. He the mortal enemy, bro. He trash now. He trash now at the end of the day. And again, we don't even have to hamper on those conversations unless this situation we're currently in just bombs on its face. Because if this situation don't work out and we fail this year, and we got to talk about more than Watson. We know we miss Watson, but you missed Herbert. You missed so many players where we drafted players above them. Think about the players we could have got instead of Austin Jackson or Noah Igbenogany that are certified ballers. Jonathan Taylor was on the board. Well, we got to let this play out because at the end of the day, we could be holding the Lombardi at the end of the year, and then we all got to humble ourselves and say, trust the process. Ball game say no need to talk about the misses. Oh, ball game, if we fail this year, we talk about nothing but the misses. But you know why? Because somebody got to be held accountable, bro. Real talk. I don't know who that is, but somebody got to be held accountable. Is it Greer? Is it who? But real talk, back to what I was saying, I don't make excuses for Tua Tagovailoa. If anybody watched this channel, you know that. But I have to say, this ain't the best you could do for him. This ain't the best. As long as we got that little $16 million sitting right there, this ain't the best you could do for him. Don't like it. And let me go further. It ain't like you have any depth on the O-line anyway. You ain't got no depth on the O-line. Teron Armstead, go out, who you gonna put in? A guy that you don't even want to start to begin with? Any other guards go down. We got replacements, but it ain't like you feel good about them. The center go down, Lord, we in trouble. Whatever center that is, we don't even know. Because I think when they go to camp, they're gonna put Dieter back at center, man. I think this Connor Williams thing is just a show. That's just a pure guess of mine, y'all, because I hope so. I want Connor Williams sitting right there at the left guard, elite, because I like Dieter at center. I actually like Dieter at center. Is he elite? No, but I like Dieter at center. I like him at center. On the record, TD likes Dieter at center. I'd rather have Armstead, Connor, and Dieter, and I know half of my line. No, and Robert Hunt. That makes me feel real good about the first four. If you're going to leave me with a hole, just leave me with the right tackle and let everybody battle for it. I would feel really, really good about our O-line if Dieter plays center and they left Connor right at the left guard. But you're going to take Connor and put him at center, which he never played, and then put a guy that's of lesser value than Connor at guard. Miss me with all this. Miss me. Why are we doing it in the first? Let me tell y'all something. I am taking the approach that they were only playing around and experimenting in mini camps. I am just assuming in my head the wisdoms, the geniuses at B, when camp starts, they do what they really want to do. Is put Connor Williams at left guard and Dieter at center. I'm just guessing that. I'm just hoping that's the situation. But they know better than me, and I'm not saying that facetiously. They do. So maybe they own to something, and I'm just totally wrong. But this is just where I'm at with it. PHINSTAK CB83 said, I trust the coaches. Yep. Ain't it funny how every first-year head coach, I trust the coaches. Adam Gase first year, I trust what Adam Gase doing. Flores, I trust the coach. It's funny how we always start out with trust instead of looking at all the facts and saying, I don't think, stand on your own. I don't stand on your own. Stop saying you trust the coach and instead make your opinion of the situation. Act like you are the coach. What would you do? Are you going to move Connor Williams to center, a position he never played? The only reps he had at it was a preseason with Dallas, which he fumbled 2 snaps and admitted in the interview I'm no good at it, but I'll get better over time. And the only reason they did it in Dallas is so that they have a backup center just in case of an emergency. And I'm hoping that's what they're doing in Miami. They only giving him reps at center because they don't have another center other than Dieter, and they can use him as an emergency just in case Dieter goes down. And this is a good O-line coach, right? I mean, we like our O-line coach now, right? If we like our O-line coach so much now and we finally got the right one, then Dieter is at a very good place of a starting point to where you can make him a great NFL center. If the coaches are what we say they are, if we trust the coaches. Because Dieter at center is playing better than Austin Jackson at tackle. So I'm sorry. I love it, TD. I'm going to still support you, LOL. I appreciate you, G-Money, as always, man. But we're going to make you a Dolphin fan after we beat the Browns week 10, bro. You're going to be an official Dolphins fan. We ain't going to knock you for still liking Watson. I'm sorry, man. If these coaches are what we expect them to be, then Dieter need to be at center. Because he has already showed you enough to make you feel like you should be able to continue to develop him. He ain't been no slouch. He ain't been no bum. He ain't been the elite or great, but he ain't been no bum. He's held his own respectively. Still got a lot of work to do and has his flaws, but he's held his own respectively to the point to where I invest in developing him over some of these other guys that we drafted in the freaking first round. If we want to trust our coaches, right? Just my thoughts, man. But like I said, I don't make excuses for Tua, but truth be told, this ain't the best they could do for him. Let me tell y'all something. I keep telling y'all Chris Greer is hoarding them first round picks as insurance for him. And Greer ain't getting fired no time soon because he continues to have his skate. But let me tell you something. If you truly believed in Tua, if you truly want to support him, you spend the rest of that money and you go get your players to finish that O-line. And I'll do you one better. You go take some of them future assets, some of them first round picks, and you go get you 2 linebackers. At least one. Improve your linebacking unit. We got a whole bunch of average to good guys, but go get somebody elite. Because truth be told, I'm personally hoping that Raekwon Davis makes the difference this year in the run game so that the ball rarely gets to the next level in the run game. And in the passing game, I'm hoping we can get to the quarterback quick enough, because at the end of the day, we either got a linebacker who can stop the run or a linebacker who can stop the pass. But you tell me who on this team doing both. You tell me who on this team going to do both and do it well. Ball game said, who you going to go get? Who are the names available that are truly going to make that big of a difference? Ball game, look at the assets we got. I'm not talking about trying to find a good guy for a third rounder, which most of them are worth. Look at the assets we got. This is where you got a team so stacked, and if you truly believe in it, screw the normal third and fourth round picks for good players. Now we talking first and second round picks. Overpay just a little to have the team that's going to get it now. You know what I mean? Imagine having a team that you believe could win a Super Bowl. At that point, the value of your assets don't matter anymore because you're going for it all. You'll go get something that's worth a third, but you know you can't take it away for a third. So you spend the freaking second. You spend the freaking first if you truly believe this is the opportunity. Because I think we're in a 2-year window. I think that right now we're in a 2-year window. We don't get it done in these 2 years, right back to square one. Because everybody money start catching up and everybody start looking for their money from these draft picks that are young. So when we talking second and first round picks, all that who's available goes out of the window. Because anybody's available then. Not anybody, but you know what I mean. These teams know I got a good linebacker right there. If I had to trade him, he worth a third, but it ain't worth me trading him. But they offering a second. They offering a first. They tripping, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. Bye. You got to do what you got to do. If you really believe in this team, you got a 2-year window, you go for it. What team is going to really give up a guy that is that special, though? Ain't nobody just let. No, I get that. I get that ball game. But when you overpay, you start getting the conversation rolling. Just like they did with Tunsil. But we talk about linebackers. Ain't nothing going to be more than no first. So when I say that, I'm talking about you got to go through rosters and teams that know that they're rebuilding. You got to go out the teams that can get an asset. That drafted a third rounder who end up being really good, but you can go ahead and give them a first for it. You got to find those teams. You got to go to Chicago. You got to go to San Fran because in my opinion, they about to go through a rebuild. You got to go to Atlanta. You got to go to the Lions. You got to go to those rosters where you know these guys are about to rebuild. Or they just started it. Expiring contracts. But don't tell me that ball game. Don't tell me you can't get nothing out there now. Remember, I'm using terms overpay. Put it like this. If somebody called and said, I give you a first round pick for Mike Gesicki right now, is he getting traded? Yes or no? Yes or no? If somebody called right now, I give you a first round pick for Mike Gesicki, is he going to get traded? Yes or no? Out of there. Out of there. In a quick snap hurry. In a quick hurry. Out of there. That's all I'm saying. But if they talk about a third, we good. Ain't nobody trying to get rid of Gesicki. You see what I mean? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And this is what I'm talking about. You got an opportunity to go to finish this team now, and you'll have everybody under contract just about for 2 years. For the next 2 while you in that window. Figure the rest out after that. So my thing is, this ain't the best you could do. But ladies and gentlemen, this might be the best you're going to get unless we get surprised. Matter of fact, I'll go out on the limb to say you might lose a little more. Don't think that nobody on this roster tradable too. And I already gave y'all the key names. Mike Gesicki's number 1. Christian Wilkins number 2. Byron Jones number 3. Eric Rowe is number 4. These are all players that could be traded. Not saying they will. Let's make sure we get that straight. But they could be traded. You know, they sitting there scratching their head trying to figure out how they're going to pay Christian Wilkins now. I don't think they scratching their head on how they're going to pay Gesicki long term because I don't know if they want him long term. They just don't want the PR problem of you're taking weapons away from Tua. So keep Gesicki this year, tag him, and next year we'll worry about that. That ain't it, y'all. That's not it. What about Nick Needham? How you gonna pay him? Ain't no tender next year. You tendered him this year. He got his $4.5 million. But if he continues to play at this level, you're gonna have to give him his 8, 9. The price is going up. He's the new Bobby McCain. Bobby McCain earned it out of the trenches. Bobby McCain was a nobody and became somebody and got $7 million a year from Miami, and he deserved it. Number 1 slot in the NFL that year. Nick Needham is on that trajectory, but that price ain't $7 million no more. It's like 8 or 9. Are you gonna pay him or you gonna let him walk? Oh, but you might be getting rid of Byron Jones, so you might have the money to. Still, these are all the things to consider. Oh, my bad, y'all. I hit the buttons. That's why. All these people, y'all ain't think about that. Needham need his money next year. Gesicki need his money. Christian Wilkins need his money. It's like 2 more. I don't know why they slip in my mind right now. It's like 2 more players need their money too. They'll come to my mind eventually. You got 3 players. You got to decide if you're going to pick up their 5th-year option after this year. Are you picking up Noah's 5th year? Are you picking up Austin Jackson's? Are you picking up Tua's? Which basically means you're guaranteeing them the top dollar at their position. I want y'all to think about that too. Ooh, it's coming to me now. I want y'all to think about that. Are you going to pick up the 5th-year option on these guys? Matter of fact, I want y'all to think about this too. Let's say all 3 of them play good football, right? Can you even afford to pick up the 5th-year option on all 3 of them? Do you know what the 5th-year option on Tua would be? In 2 years, that's going to be around $27 million. Austin Jackson's going to be somewhere around 17 or something like that. I got to go look at the chart again for the lineman, but I think that's where it is. I know the quarterbacks is going to be around 27 at that point. Noah's, it'll be a little lower, but I don't even know what the cornerback chart said. But are you going to even be able to pick up the 5th-year option? And I'm talking about if they ball out this year, y'all. That's the scary part about it. If Noah balls out, if Austin Jackson balls out. If Tua balls out, are you going to be able to pick up the 5th-year option on all 3 of them? I haven't even thought about that. Because if you pick up the 5th-year option, you're committing to them, even though you still don't know if they're the guy, because you don't want to get hit with a Baker Mayfield situation where he has a great season. You pick up the 5th-year option, then you mad you picked it up in the 4th year. You're like, oh, crap, what did we do? That's what they just went through, just so you know. Baker Mayfield had an excellent season, won a playoff game. They went 11-5. And it wasn't excellent to me, but it was good enough to help his team go to the playoffs and make some noise. They picked up the 5th-year option. In the 4th year, they're like, oh, we need a new quarterback. But you picked up the 5th-year option. Then they had to deal with all this trouble. That's what the issue was. And all that money they owed to Baker. It's going to be interesting. You don't have to do them all at the same time, so they'll figure it out. The cap increases the eyeball game. No, sir. 5th-year option, you got to decide. You got to decide in the summer of the 4th year. Before the 4th year starts, you got to decide. They ain't no, you don't have to do them all at the same time. No, there's only one time to do it. After the 3rd year, you cannot do it once the 4th year starts. There will be an unrestricted free agent after year 4 if you don't pick up the 5th-year option after year 3. You got a decision to make. You can't delay it and say, I'm going to pick it up later. He said Noah will be cheap since the first 2 seasons were lackluster. Well, it just depends. Like I said, if they all ball out ball game, if Byron get hurt and Noah come out there and play top-level football like J.C. Jackson, not saying he would. I ain't that crazy, right? But I'm just saying, if he balls out and then he go into year 4 and pick up from there, you don't have him locked in long-term. It ain't no franchise tag when you neglect the 5th-year option. And he just like Jay, then he off in the free agency. Well, I mean, and again, some of this stuff ain't likely to happen. It ain't likely to happen. Even though that's still my opinion. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm one of the main people that would admit 3rd year Josh Allen, I would have said, no, that ain't happening. I knew he had the intangibles, had the rocket, had the mobility, but still, I didn't think it was going to be that. So, we'll see. Somebody said only the quarterback you pick up. They just picked up Christian Wilkins' 5th-year option, I know. But that could be traded. And another benefit of picking up the 5th-year option, once you give him the big, massive deal, you could spread it out into that year, and it kind of saves you money on an annual basis. That's why when you look at Kyler Murray's contract, right? This is what I try to tell people. Help people understand. Kyler Murray's contract is so favorable for the team. People don't realize that. Oh, he's the 2nd highest player. This is getting ridiculous. Remember, what you're not considering with Kyler Murray's contract is the simple fact that he had, if I'm not mistaken, 2 more years left on the deal. That's up to them how they want to structure it, but they can spread it out into that. A lot of that signing bonus they're going to be giving him now, and they get to spread the guaranteed signing bonus for the 2 years before the contract starts and all the years of the contract. That's why the sooner you do it, the more you get to spread it out. The more you get to spread it out. And I'm looking at his contract now, and it proves my point. This year, Kyler Murray's base salary is only $1 million. But they got a cap hit of 12, almost 13 million, because he got a $12 million signing bonus. They already spreading it out. They already getting some of that money into this year. And the contract don't even start until like 2024, if I'm not mistaken. His contract doesn't even start until 2024, but they're already paying some of it this year and next year, because next year his base salary is only $2 million. but he has an option bonus, a signing bonus, and a workout bonus that totals up to $14 million. They already putting some of the money in the early years. That's the benefit of doing it earlier. If you give somebody a big contract after year 3, you still have year 4 and year 5 for the 5th-year option to spread some of the guaranteed money so that it lessens it later on. So that's a big win for them. Ball game said Wilkins ain't Wilkins ain't going anywhere. I believe you, ball game. I believe you. I don't think he is either, but he definitely is some bait, man. He's definitely a very he's bait, bro. He's bait. I'll be glad when they give him the long-term deal so we know, but until then, I'm telling you, that situation is fragile, bro. That situation is more fragile than you think. That's why I don't understand how they gave Baker that money. And then the biggest mystery is, how much is Christian Wilkins going to be worth? That's the number that nobody can really put a solid number on that. How much is he actually going to be worth? He didn't come out the gate balling out like that. He was kind of average the first year. The second year, it was improvement, but honestly, it was like, nah, we need more than that, or we got to move on from this level of a draft pick. And last year, he gave you all you were supposed to get. He was perfect last year. He was a dog last year. He made up for the first 2 years. But now, what does that translate to? How much money is that? Like, what kind of contract can he demand? G Money said clean house after week 8. If we ain't doing good. Long as we in contention, it's all good. Wilkins balled last year and literally imposing his will and showing you on film that I'm that dude. And you hope that this ain't even the ceiling. But again, does anybody have a number? Does anybody know what that's worth? What the going rate for that is in the NFL now? Do you, ball game? Because I don't know. I genuinely don't know. So, and I'm just going to have to do a little bit more research on that. See what the going rate for some of the top defensive linemen are. Chef Juice said 13 to 15 mil. So you trying to tell me Jerome Baker worth the same money Christian Wilkins? Oh, try again. And then, ball game, is he getting defensive end money or defensive tackle money? Because technically he plays the defensive end in the 3-4 the way we have it lined up. You know what I mean? So, or are they just going to make it the D tackle like we know he is? We got to figure that out too. Which one would he constitute as, the tackle or the end? I think the tackle, honestly. And when you look at it, let me see, man. I gotta see, man. I want to see by player. I'm gonna see if I can actually find that information. I don't really care about the money because it's all funny money anyways. Ball game, it ain't funny money, bro. It's all real money, bro. It just seemed like funny money because people can maneuver things this way and that way, but I'm just saying, based off of my research, it really isn't funny money. Every time a team does something like, how do they have the money for that? I actually see where they have the money and how they did it, and it all makes sense from a monetary standpoint. But a lot of times we don't pay attention to them kicking the can down the road 4 and 5 years later. And when that team sucks, we forget that's why. We forget that they went through 4 years of just being trash, but it had something to do when we thought the money didn't matter anyway and it was fake. That money is real, man. I know people, the money ain't real on salary cap. Oh, it's real. It's real. It's just a matter of if you want it right now or you want a long-term successful team. Defensive tackles. Let me see here. They ain't gonna give me top players, man. I just want defensive tackles, the players. Um 4-3 defensive ends aren't the same as 3-4 ends, so you got to do the research based on the difference. No, that's what I'm saying. I know the difference, but from a contract standpoint, do they consider it a tackle or a defensive end? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Let me see. All positions. Okay, here we go. I think I might have found it. All right, let me see. Let's just go with tackles. Defensive tackles. I want to see what the top paid because Christian Wilkins was the 6th rank in the NFL. He ain't Aaron Darnold. Excuse me. And we know what that was about. That's 95 million. Let me see. Well, how many years is Aaron Darnold contract? Whatever cheaper lists him as that. The agent ain't gonna let that happen. Jesus, Aaron Darnold signed a 3-year, $95 million contract. How in, oh my gosh. This man getting 31.5 million, 31.6 million a year. And look at them, they put voidable years just to be able to afford it. They gave him 2 voidable years. It's a 3-year contract, but they spread it out over 4 years. See, the Rams, a perfect example. They set their team up to where they know they're going to suck in 2025 and 2026 because they got all these players that got dead cap that ain't going to be on the team in 2025 and 2026. So they know they're going to be going through a rebuild. But man, Aaron Darnold. Now, DeForest Buckner getting 84 million. Is that 4 years? 4 years, 84 million for Buckner, and that's 21 million a year. So he's number 2, the second highest paid, and these guys getting older. The new generation gonna get even more money. Chris Jones is number 3. What is he getting? 4 years, 80 million. That's 20 million a year. Jonathan Allen, 18 a year. So the new money for Christian Wilkins could be somewhere in that $20 million range because it's going to be more than these guys got. It's going to be more than these guys. It ain't going to be more than freaking it ain't going to be more than Aaron Darnold, but it's going to be just as much as those other top guys. In defensive end, that's probably even worse. Myles Garrett, $125 million contract. That's 6 years. That's 25 a year. Max Crosby, 23.5 a year. D Ford. Basically, all of these guys, Christian Wilkins could be in that $20 million range. It will be based on where he plays the most snaps. Davis is the tackle in our scheme. I agree. But then either way, tackle and being top 10 in the NFL can put you at $20 million a year. Though they could put you at $20 million a year ball game, even if you're the outside tackle. And not to mention, you also have to consider Zyler as well. I got to look at his contract. Hopefully we got him locked down for some time to come. Miami Dolphins. I gotta look at it. Hopefully we got him locked down for some time too, because let's see, contract. This ain't looking good. So then you got the guy on the other side of him who, they just gave Zyler a new contract. I do remember that. They extended him in 2021. So this will be the first year of that deal. They are stealing money from the bank. Zyler is under contract for 2 years. This year is $2.57 million. And next year is $3.2 million cap hit. And let me see any guarantees. Yeah, they guaranteed the contract pretty much with half of it. No, they didn't guarantee next year. I'm gonna tell y'all now, if Zach Zyler pulls out another top 5 season, because he was the number 3 in the NFL at the position. Zyler was number 3 in the NFL at the position. I could tell y'all now, next year Zyler is gonna demand a trade so he can get his money, or he gonna want to get paid. Because we already stealing. We paying pennies for him right now. And he's playing top. He's been top 3 in the NFL. He's been top in the NFL. So this will be very interesting. Very interesting. We'll see. That position is going to be very interesting. It's one of the strongest units I believe we have right now. But we'll see how that extends out. But anyway, man, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, man. I just wanted to come to y'all, talk to y'all about this Byron Jones situation. We definitely hope that he gets his full strength 100%. Ball Game says Zyler will be the trade bait, not Wilkins. I don't know, Ball Game. See, I don't like that though, because Zyler's playing just as good, if not better, than Christian Wilkins, and he'll probably demand less money than Christian Wilkins. Plus, just because of the draft status of both players, you might be able to get more in a trade for Christian Wilkins just because of recognition, because of the where he was drafted. I think you get more for Christian and save more money and still have Zach Zyler level of play. You just got to find Christian Wilkins' replacement to be on the opposite side of Zyler. Or at the end of the day, you keep both of them, but that could get really expensive because that's too many guys that's starting to get very expensive on this defense. Right now, Miami Dolphin fans are living in heaven because we got too many good players making pennies. Brandon Jones making pennies. Freaking who else? Brandon Jones making pennies. Even Eric Rowe ain't making much. Javon Holland making pennies. Every linebacker you got, with the exception of Jerome Baker, making pennies. Zyler making pennies. Christian Wilkins at his draft capital is making pennies because he on a rookie deal. Raekwon Davis making pennies. Jalen Phillips making pennies. And pennies translates to not a lot of money compared to what they can be making in the NFL. I want you to think about how many guys are not making the money that they could be making, which they will be making when they get their new contract, when their young deals get out the way. The problem is with this rising salary cap, what we got to realize as Dolphin fans, don't forget we were one of the youngest teams in the NFL. That theory doesn't work for us because even though the cap will be going up, we have too many people that were already making pennies. I could see if you got one or two every year that ain't making pennies, but this whole roster is full of pennies that's going to need to be big bucks eventually. It's too many guys that's going to need their money eventually. So everybody can't stay with the Dolphins, y'all. And this is how you're supposed to look at it. 4 years from now, half of these guys I'm about to name will be gone because you can't afford to keep them all. Half of these guys will be gone. Jalen Phillips, Christian Wilkins, Zach Zyler, Raekwon Davis, every linebacker you got, including Jerome Baker, Javon Holland, Brandon Jones, Xavien Howard, Byron Jones. Half of all of those guys will be gone in 4 years. You think X got more than 4 more years in him? At least not at a high price. Byron Jones ain't going to be here for 4 years. Ogba, I ain't even mention him. This whole defense. Half of these guys will be gone. And then you got to break the bank to pay the other half, especially if you have a historic defense. And this is why I know people say that's the point of the draft, TD, but guess what? Based off of our defense, we hit on defense. Who do you think had most of the say on defense in the last few years that allowed us to hit? Who do you think probably had some of the greatest impact that allowed us to keep hitting on defense? Because we ain't hit nothing on offense in the draft. We barely hit it. We got our batting average on offense is terrible. But on defense, Brian Flores is a big part of why we hit. He ain't here no more. So that's why you got the draft, TD. Well, guess what? Remember before Brian Flores, it was hard to ever hit on defense. Before Brian Flores era, tell me where we hit on defense. Only thing we ever had on defense was pretty much players that we paid for in free agency. You tell me how many players we hit on defense before Brian Flores. 1 out of every 7. So miss me with that, you got the draft. We don't have a history of hitting on defense in the draft whatsoever. Please give me the names of the players we hit on before Flores. And every player you give me, I'll give you 7 to 10 that we didn't. Hollins and Phillips, who else? That is Brian Flores. I said before Flores. When you got a defensive-minded coach, know what he want and the type of player he want. Somebody said Deion Jordan. Exactly. That's my point. Xavien Howard, 1 out of the 50. 1 out of 50. Somebody said Baker. My point exactly. You get my drift here, ladies and gentlemen? So that's why you got the draft. Okay. You go in the draft and replace Xavien Howard. You go in the draft and replace Byron Jones. You go in the draft, you replace Christian Wilkins. You go in the draft, replace. It ain't going to be easy is what I'm trying to say to y'all. It's just not going to be easy. That's why the only thing I'm focused on right now in Miami is these next 2 years, this window we got. Because if we could hold that trophy, we could go through a stretch of bad times again. As long as I can in my lifetime, I was born in 85. Let me see that trophy go up in my lifetime. Gosh, man. Gosh. That's why I'm only focused on the next 2 years. Go for broke. I don't care if you do it with Tua. Just go for it. Go get a center and a right tackle and go spend them draft picks. And you need to go spend them draft picks anyway. If y'all been following the NFL and Flores situation, they need to go spend that draft picks anyway. Yesterday, Flores got his first win on the case. The judge agreed with Flores on the extension. NFL tried to hit him real quick and make him require him to provide certain things. And they basically put a hearing through with the judge, and the judge sided with Flores and his lawyer. So now all that private stuff, that's they decision now. NFL tried to pull a quick, fast one, but it ain't worked. The judge said, no, Flores' team is right about this one. So they denied the NFL's motion. And that's why I'm like, man, spend them draft picks, man. You don't know what's going to happen in the next year. What's going to come of anything. But I'm going to be mad if they come back, oh, Miami Dolphins, we stripping you of 2 first-round, 3 first-round picks and this and that for your involvement in this and that. Man, I'm going to be so mad. He said, Xavien Howard and Ndamukong Suh, we didn't draft Suh. I said draft. And Cameron Wake, we didn't draft Cameron Wake. We went and got him in the CFL. Are the only hits this team has been good for before Flores. And 2 of them wouldn't even draft it. And I ain't gonna lie, when you truly think about it, that's embarrassing. Like all of them defensive players that we done had in like the last 10 years, none of them was great outside of Xavien Howard. Like when you think about it, is he the only one that you drafted before Flores that became something? That's neglect. That's next level, y'all. Well, think about it. I want y'all to think. I ain't even think about it. Donald making me think about it now. And y'all talking about that's what the draft is for? Oh my gosh. It's not good. Rashad Jones, I give us that one. Even though he played hurt most of the time. We talking about defense, Stevie TV. So Jarvis Landry don't count. Bobby McCain, okay. Somewhat, right? But we stretching. That's neglect, y'all. That's neglect. Anyway, man, I'm just focused on the next 2 years, winning one. I'm finna get out of here. What time is it, man? It's 5:30. Love y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Fins up no matter what. Everybody in the community, the Dolphins community, I love y'all. Appreciate what y'all do, especially all of our content creators. Salute to every single one of y'all. I love what y'all do. I've been sitting back the last month just enjoying other content creators in this community. Some great channels out there, y'all. Yeah, make sure y'all go check them out. Also, make sure you go check out Miss Fins over on her channel. Let's get her to 400 subs. She put that work in every day. But man, just show the entire community some love. Next time you're on somebody else's stream, just say TDPHINSTALK sends his love to this stream, and that's for everybody, every creator. All right, none exempt. All right, I don't care what their subscribers think of me or what. You go in that comment section, you let them know TD sends his love to every Dolphin creator, because I love them all, man. And that's what it should be, man. So y'all spread the love, spread the kindness, spread the respect. And at the end of the day, man, let's get this Super Bowl however we can. That's all we want. That's all we want. Let's get this Super Bowl, y'all. I would, but Reason blocked me. Hey, well, if Reason ain't block you, you go over there and you tell him the love from TD as well, man. Love from TD as well, man. I love these guys in the channel. Thank you so much for coming through, Ball Game. Man, we got to get up here before the season start and do a show again. I'm going to see if I can get the old crew together. Donald, Ball Game, EM, Reason. See, we're going to see. I'm going to see if I can get the crew together. We do something, man. But with that being said, man, that's why I got to play my intro and outro song, man. It's a salute to all my day one crew and everybody who helped. Ball Game, you in this song too, man. I mentioned all y'all, man. So appreciate y'all love. Yeah. Appreciate your support. Enjoy the song, and I'll be out of here. Peace. Love y'all so much, man.
Came so far. Gotta keep going.
Hey, this is 2022. TD on the mic repping my team. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Over 20,000 subs. Look at how much we done grew. Shout out DDW. He's great and that's my peer review. These haters keep on hating and it's starting to feel like deja vu. Insanity and Chef Jew. I can't forget my day one crew. EM Reason Ball Game. The recognition's overdue. I share with you my point of view and this is what it's got us to success. My haters say I'm a mess. They say that I'm a pest and I depress. And I'm obsessed with causing stress, but yet the stress they can't suppress. Nonetheless, I just impress because I'm blessed and they oppress. I know the answers, they just guess. When they play checkers, I play chess. When they regress, I make progress. And my attention, they get less. They feel neglected, CPS. If they don't pay, I repossess. Now I digress and decompress and take recess and clear my chest. I must confess, I am the best. Like, hey, this is 2022. TD on the mic repping my team. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Over 20,000 subs. Look at how much we done grew. Shout out DDW. He's great and that's my peer review. These haters keep on hating and it's starting to feel like deja vu. Insanity and Chef Jew. I can't forget my day one crew. EM Reason Ball Game. The recognition's overdue. I share with you my point of view and this is what it's got us to success. On the road to the Super Bowl, no matter the cost, man, we willing to pay the toll. 50 plus years and they all ended in tears. Now it's time to pop bottles, celebrate, scream cheers. Hey, this is 2022. TD on the mic repping my team. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Over 20,000 subs. Look at how much we done grew. Shout out to my day one crew. We only here because of you.